Okay, once again, reminder, just because it says consider the differential equation doesn't mean you shouldn't think you're supposed to solve the differential equation. It just says consider. Okay, it says on the axes provided, sketch the slope field. Okay, prior to this moment, you've never sketched a slope field in your life. Okay, it's one of the easiest things you'll ever do. Hands up, what's the purpose of this equation? Come on, hands. It's Danica's chart again. You know, you've got, let's see, there's some column here for y, and here's the column for dy dx. We don't have an equation for this, although we maybe call it f of x equals something, or maybe we call it y equals something. We do have an equation for this. It's y minus 1 squared cosine of pi times x. So we have that. What's the purpose of this equation? Hands, come on. I've asked this before. Think with me, don't just listen. What's the purpose? Always. You're going to see this in lots of AP questions. What's the purpose of this equation? Looking for more hands. People that got their head down, they're like, not looking at me, like, I don't want to answer. Calvin.
Is it to find the slopes of y?
Yeah. There's some curve. This is just the formula for finding all the slopes of this curve. Okay? So show me your hand if it was raised a moment ago. Put down 10. Question. Okay. Slope field. A slope field is a picture of what slopes of f might look like. One more time. The slope field is a picture of what the slopes of f will look like. So if this is the equation for finding the slopes of f, I can use that equation to figure out what the slopes of f will look like. It's best to choose x or y values that have some sort of pattern. So when I look at this equation, I can see right away a specific choice of x or y will make the computation easier because of how the equation is laid out. So raise your hand. Think with me. Don't just listen. What's a good choice for x or y to kind of see a pattern? It's a good choice for x or y. You only have to use these values. So what x or y would you pick? Justin?
1 and 1.
Would just pick one x or one y?
1.
For which one? For y? If I put a 1 here, a good thing happens. Because what is 1 minus 1? 0. 0 squared is? 0. We don't even care what cosine is, right? So that means everywhere where y equals 1. So, points for Justin. Hands up. Where should I be looking? Where is y equal to 1? Come on. Where do I look? Where is y equal to 1? You got to think with me. You don't just listen. Rachel.
Well, x is 0.
No.
Are you talking about on the graph?
Yeah, like I've got this graph. I'm supposed to pay attention to these 9 points. Justin said, well, choose y equal 1, because that's a nice thing, because when y equals 1, this is going to be 0. So where on this graph is y equal 1? Just point on your picture. Where else? There we go. 2 points for Rachel. How many knew I should look here, here, and here? 2 points. Okay. That means, remember, a slope field is a picture of what the slopes of f look like at different points. So if f goes through this point, the slope's going to look like this. But f could go through, I don't know where f goes, I don't know what points f goes through. The slope field is like possibilities. So if f went through this point, the slope would also look like that, also like that. This is how you construct a slope field. Questions? Okay. You should pick another easy to use value now, either x or y. So come on, hands up. What's another wise choice for x or y? Ashley.
-1 for y.
For y? So if I plug in -1 here, I get -1 minus 1, which is -2. And then -2 squared would be 4. Not a bad choice. 2 points. I can see a different number I prefer to start with. Lizzie.
X equals 1.
If x equals 1, that would be here, here, and here. The cosine of pi, what's the cosine of pi? So that kind of helps.
Oh,
I guess there's no other points that really are that great. They're kind of both in and about the same. So I kind of just have to do it. Kennedy, please.
when x is equal to 0.
So x equals 0 would be these two. That would be the cosine of 0, which is 1. So that's, yeah, they're all kind of, there's nothing, I didn't get any more zeros, so that didn't, so you just kind of do it now. So I don't know, here we go. So dy dx, that was useless. So this point here is x equal 1, y equals 0. That's going to equal -1 squared, and then the cosine of pi. That's 1, that's -1, that's -1. So this spot here has a slope of -1. The slope of -1 would look exactly like this. You do have to draw it precisely. You can't be lazy. If you draw it in a lazy manner, you lose the point. Questions? Cool. So then, just keep going. I need this point as well, so that's dy dx at, you do not have to write anything down. I'm writing just so everyone can see how I'm thinking. This is going to be -1 minus 1 squared, cosine of 1 times pi. This is going to be -2 squared is 4 times -1, so that's -4. That's a wicked slope. This is a slope of 2. Slope of 3 would be, slope of 4 is like not vertical, but it's very steep. Questions? Come over here where x is -1. dy dx.
Do you want us to put like the numbers of like the slope, like
No, you don't need the numbers. They're going to grade you totally on your picture.
So like if my picture was like a nice point look like that, would be like.
Yeah, they won't give you the point.
So I put it pretty exact.
So be, reasonably correct. So I wrote that wrong. Sorry, this is at x equal -1, y equal -1. So that's going to be -1 minus 1 squared, cosine of pi times -1. Cosine of -pi is still -1. So this is -4 again. That. Questions? Two spots left. Let's see. Cosine of 0 is 1. So this has a slope of 1, so that's going to look like this. Over here, y is 0, so that's just 1. So that's -1 again. Double check the back, make sure we did not make a mistake. We will look. Oh, one more, yeah. So here, that's going to be 1. So this is -1 again. That is a weird slope field. They usually have more of a pattern to it.
That one, it says that it's, isn't it positive? It was different.
So, oh, wait a minute.
Positive 4 maybe.
You're right. Because -1 is the y. -1 minus 1 would be -2 squared is 4. The cosine would be, so it's a positive 4, correct?
Yeah.
So it looks like this. Is that the answer?
Yeah.
That is a weird slope field. Usually there's more pattern to it, just kind of random.
Like on this one, of the negative pi was like.
So here's the cosine thing.
What it says like pi.
I think in my watch,
So it's negative pi.
an angle of pi is right here.
Yeah.
An angle of negative pi means you rotate this way, same place. And so that spot is 1 to the left. Therefore, the cosine of pi is -1. Cosine of negative pi also -1. Is that your question?
Yeah.
Anybody else? Cool.